And Jim, speaking of important figures, I guess in the modern day sense, why don't we talk about what you've watched over the last few days? A lot of buzz around certain events on SmackDown and Raw. Why don't we start with SmackDown?
Well, why don't we just lay the smack right down there on SmackDown? This is amazing when you look at what they're fucking doing. And again, you know, some people are saying, before I get started, people are, oh, Cornette's blowing the WWE. Cornette's getting paid, but you know, I used to get a royalty check back when they had those things, but then they started the network and fucked everybody out of their royalty. But I don't get any money from the WWE, and I'm not. They actually think that I'm blowing the WWE when I say, "Goddamn, this show is so fucking boring." Except at least at the top, they do some good shit, rather than this fucking incendiary car wreck on the interstate known as AEW over here. Oh, he's not being fair.
Someone accused me yesterday of being on AEW's payroll. What gave that away? When I said Tony Khan can't do this, he's not the one?
only if, in the words of Big Bad John, he just loved being whooped. Then they might pay you. But no, what they have done here, Chicago for SmackDown was sold out with 16,000 plus people after they just came back from Paris, Gay Paris, where they did 30,000 for a pay-per-view and 23,000 for Raw. That is 70,000 tickets in 3 shows in 6 days for no more than what they're doing. See, that's how I don't know if the people get the fact that it's not really a compliment when it's more astonishment when they're doing these giant numbers and they've got like 2.5 things now that are really they got John Cena back in the saddle again. Jesus Christ, can you believe they botched 6-7 months of that fucking thing just because The Rock couldn't keep his yap shut? But they got Cena back, they're going batshit, and now they've got the goddamn modern day equivalent of Jimmy Garvin and Precious and Sunshine and fucking insert babyface here, Chris Adams. This is tremendous. And SmackDown featured both of these things and was the best SmackDown that they've done in ages because they only had an hour in between the Cena stuff and the Punk and AJ and Seth and Becky stuff to bore us with. Normally, you got to wait an hour and a half at least in the middle. Am I exaggerating, Brian?
Oh, no.
At least an hour and a half.
At least.
But no. And after seeing what they did with John Cena's interview, which opened the show, can somebody go find The Rock and ball gag him, bind his hands behind his back, tied along with his brain up his ass? Why did he gave the most incredible babyface promo with the huge ovation with thank you Cena chants where he couldn't talk for minutes because it's his last time on SmackDown. And 3 months ago, they had him coming out and telling all the people to go piss up a rope. What the fuck was the matter with them now that I see this?
Remember when everyone jumped on me and said, this will all make sense? You're wrong. This is all good. You see, it got a big pop. Everyone's talking about it. It was not well thought out, not well done. Forget about Travis Scott, who was kind of in the middle of the whole thing. That didn't work out either. The Rock now looks like he's half the size that he was 6 months ago. So that ain't
he's half the man he used to be.
And apparently he's trying as hard as he can to be considered serious as an actor right now. It may be hard because everything you see him in, it's Dwayne Johnson trying to act. But he ain't going to be back anytime soon.
At the same point, though, now, since he's lost 50 pounds, we're sure of one thing, he ain't going to wrestle. And you know,
Well,
and
you
if
could
I
now you
could-
can make him a babyface. If a bunch of heels beat up on the sickly looking Rock, doesn't it
you
make him
know
a
what?
babyface?
But if I was the Rock and I could have gotten the shape that I was in as he's in, or you know what I'm saying, over the last year or two, I'd have had a goddamn match with Roman Reigns just to do a family member a fucking favor instead of trying to be the final boss and pissing everybody's post toasties. But anyway, back to Cena in the ring here. He even said, I've dodged roadblocks and pivots. But you guys, you know, I'm so grateful to Chicago for always being critical of him, but making him work for it. And he left it all out there on his final tour, and he put them over strong and talked about how they bring their power. They got the power. They bring people back, and the people start chanting AJ Lee, which was a brilliant little. I'm just saying, this was so well put together. It's his last time in Chicago, last time on SmackDown. It was 23 years ago in that very building, and I, of course, did not remember that, where he came down and slapped Kurt Angle. And he talked about the big matches in Chicago, but he got pops for each one of them. He wasn't somebody standing there saying, when I faced Oblivion J. Jones in Korakuen Hall in fucking Tokyo, and people are really. And he said Chicago was the greatest WWE crowd, and the people were left chanting, thank you, Cena. One of the great babyface promos of anybody's, history. And he said, thank you for the beautiful ride. And the music plays. It is Sami Zayn's music. It's that commie dirtbag Sami Zayn. Who could ever like him?
And seemingly no one. The fans were ready to boo him right away. Didn't it seem like that?
Well, because here's the thing. If you had played goddamn Tinkerbell's music and had the fairy come out and sprinkle fairy dust, they would have booed because they thought it was a turn coming. And it was great because you knew the guys in the ring knew that was going to happen, and they didn't fuck with them. They got their shit in and had a ball doing it because Sami Zayn can talk his ass off. Which, again, so fucking. I had him when he was a mute. Again, what is my timing? What is life? But that's the thing. As soon as his music came down, as he started to speak, they were booing the shit out of him because they just knew, oh my God, he's going to kick him in the balls or some shit, right? And Cena even said, it's happy hour in Chicago. I'm here for the booze. And then as Sami, they're booing him, but when he starts talking, at least they're not just doing the fake boo where they're trying to drown him out. It's where they're genuinely expressing displeasure at what they think he's going to do. But when he says, John, I want to say thank you from the boys in the back. Thank you for what you did for me. Now they started warming up a little bit. They were like, okay, maybe, well, now we don't know, but we'll just not shit on him right directly. And then a little history, and I'm sure this is why they had this match. Again, I'm sure there's folks out there that will remember this happening fondly. I didn't even see it and didn't give a shit. But Sami's debut was apparently against John Cena for the U.S. title when Cena was doing the open challenge thing, right? So now he is the U.S. champion, and he wants to pay it forward. And he wanted to, introduce or institute the Sami Zayn U.S. Open Challenge. And John's like, I like the idea. Okay. And he starts to, yeah, do it. And he's going to leave. And Sami, not so quick. And now again, they're like, But then you can kind of tell by the demeanor, Sami wants to defend the U.S. title against Cena, to share a ring with him, to give him what he gave Sami years ago, a shot at the U.S. title. And now the crowd's roaring, yay, yes. And how about in Chicago? Yay. Right now, yes, I mean, the people are just throwing the babies and goddamn fondling themselves. And then Sami says, if you want some, the whole crowd says, come get some. And Cena milks it. And Sami's got his hand out. And Cena says, you're on. And they shake and they pop again. It was like, Jesus Christ. Brian, I'm just saying, how could you have done this any better than what they just did this?
I mean, in terms of setting up an angle for a match on the show between two baby faces, I guess they did it pretty good. It did seem like the fans were kind of ready to boo Sami. And I think there's something interesting there. I don't think it was just about someone's coming out here to confront Cena or talk to Cena. I think it may have been specific to Sami too. You know, we have seen like kind of the pacifist pansy character for a long time. And I know they teased the idea that like Karrion Kross was trying to get to his soul and change him back to who he's supposed to be. And I think there was a segment,
who, unemployed?
I think there was a segment of the fan base that was kind of like getting behind that. And then Karrion Kross is gone and we're just right back to Sami being, you know, again, the pacifist pansy character.
So you think maybe some people who like Sami were like, oh shit, if he turned heel, he'd get a bigger push.
I think there is some of that too, because there is a dedicated Sami Zayn fan base that like think he should be the world champion. But
well,
it did seem like they were ready to boo Sami, and he had to kind of work overtime to get them to not boo him. And again, he wasn't going to kick him in the balls or anything. So now with that said, I thought it was a really intriguing segment. And like you alluded to at the top, when I watch SmackDown or Raw, I'm just always waiting for the ball to drop. You know, I'm always waiting for like, something's going to happen and this is going to become unwatchable anytime now. And they kept my attention throughout this. And I was very curious to see how they're going to do the match, because I don't think Cena's going to win the US title. Is Cena going to put over Sami? I mean, that'd be an interesting move on his way out before the Brock match. And then, of course, we got the match. But I thought it was a really good angle.
Well, and that's the thing is that, I'm sorry, but it's just obvious. They have a large crowd that knows everything that's going on because it's simple enough to keep the basics of the people that you like in your head rather than this constant chaos that you get other places. And it's stars and it's people that are recognized, and it's a show that's produced well. And details are not forgotten. And now you got two baby faces, but they're just amped to see Cena's last match in Chicago. And still, what's going to happen? You don't know. So anyway, they're 25 minutes into the show. They come back from the break. The match is already underway. But now they're back to booing Sami when he's on the offense. They booed, but they're doing arm drags. They're having a wrestling match, and the people are into it, and they're invested. And if Sami arm drags Cena, they'll boo. And if Cena arm drags Sami, they'll cheer. And Sami is not healing, but it doesn't matter because the crowd has a clear favorite. And Cena can't go as hard or as fast as he used to, nor can he bump as hard. But they don't care because it's him and they're seeing it and it's the last time and blah, blah, blah. But think about this for a second, Brian, because a lot of people, Cena's got 3 months left on his retirement tour, right? And that would mean, he stopped doing the countdown, but if he's going to be there 10 or 12 more times, and that's, I assume, Survivor Series and a network debut and a big Saturday night show, wherever a couple of other pay-per-views, right? During that time. Is that correct?
You would think so. They're going to end, I guess the last match is Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C. It was supposed to be Boston. That's now a house show, I think.
Well, but
and then a Survivor Series and whatever December pay-per-view they have.
He's in the main event or feature match of events that are going to gross, or because of the rights fee be paid, they're going to be compensated for whatever, $50 million. Is that an exaggeration based on the figures that you've seen publicly reported? They're going to gross $50 million on just the events he's got left. Is that a terrible exaggeration?
Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me. It doesn't seem like a terrible exaggeration.
It might even be undercutting them. What kind of pressure? This is what nobody is asking. What kind of pressure is it not only on him, but whoever he's in the ring with? Because he's doing these moves that he doesn't normally do as a tribute to other people he didn't get to work with, like he does the pop-up power bomb for Owens, and he does this and that thing, whatever the fuck, right? Well, that's shit he doesn't do regularly. Plus, he hasn't had a regular schedule like this. He's doing these long matches. And yes, he's in great shape, but what kind of pressure must it be on him? Think, I better not fucking, hurt myself. Or it's throwing a $50 million fucking wrench in this deal. And for the people in the ring with him, when Sami Zayn gives him the exploder, he's at a very safe distance from the turnbuckle. Because what kind of pressure must it be on Sami Zayn to think when he's picking up the guy that's going to be in the feature match of $50 million worth of business in the next 3 months, and he needs to make sure he puts him down right. John's going to do as much of what he wants to do as he can, but he's not going to be stupid, and they're going to have him work with people. I know I can't believe I'm saying even Brock that are not going to be stupid with him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want him to get hurt, and if someone did happen to be the guy to hurt him, there would be a lot of pressure. With that said, how's he going to wrestle Brock Lesnar and it not be a physical thing?
Well, it's going to be a physical thing, but it's not going to be a stupid thing. Because, I would hesitate to say that John probably figures he's going to get tatered a couple of times in the side of the head, but he's not going to be picked up and thrown in such a way that he's going to have surgery. Right? That's the thing, is Brock has the ability and the mental acumen for this thing to know how, when to control himself a bit, but still project the aura, but he's not going to be goofy with Cena. But it's still going to be physical, but that's something that they will take pride in rather than taking stupid risks. And when it was, sometimes guys are good enough that they can make the safe shit look more painful than the dangerous shit. And that's what he did with Sami here. Instead of fucking up however many tens of millions of dollars, but they had a smart, logical, professional wrestling match, and the fans were into everything because the guys in it were over.
Isn't that the most important part? Like, they didn't have to do anything else. They did exactly what those fans were ready for.
Yes. And again, it made sense, and it was a wrestling match, and the crowd was into it, and it harkened back a little bit to that's the way that the crowds used to be in kind of almost all the matches years ago, before everybody got smart and look at it like Rex Reed instead of. But they went through several breaks. They put some time in. They had some big false finishes. And then Cena even hit the GTS, and then he hit a spear. And he was getting big pops on these 2 counts, right? And the fans started chanting RKO. So he tried the RKO, but Sami shoved him off, and Cena hit a clothesline and hit the AA off of the turnbuckles and got a big pop, and both of them were selling after this. They went about 20 minutes and had a heck of a match. And the fans were chanting, "This is awesome," as they're both laying there after the big move. And that's when they hit Brock's music. And the people go batshit. And you will recall, Brian, that when was it? About a month ago, he came out and just fucking F5'd Cena, and off he went, right? And we say he didn't come to TV. I don't know what the fuck. Well, just to make sure everybody remembers what he did, he came out and he F5'd him again. He F5'd Sami, he F5'd Cena, and he F5'd Cena again. And then he put his fucking hat back on. and walked out of there. But here's the thing, and that's again with Brock, the most dangerous thing he did when he pulled the referee out. Poor old Rudy Charles, whatever his real name is that goes by now. He hurt him. That was fucking stiff. He pulled him and he couldn't control his fall to the floor.
Yeah, that was rough.
But the F5s on Cena were just fine. So he knows what he's doing when he wants to. But again, F5, it laughs, says nothing, and walks out. And then, when they go to break, they come back, and it's the replay of his run in and Brock in the back saying, "I'll see you at WrestlePalooza, bitch."
Doesn't sound
just
right,
him having to say WrestlePalooza just didn't, yeah. And then they made the match official for September 20th, Cena and Lesnar. So the first 50 minutes of the show was all Cena and this business, and it flew right by. You didn't want to just go, what the fuck are they doing every couple minutes? Because it wouldn't go away.
I know ECW used it, and obviously Lollapalooza is a big deal. But WrestlePalooza is like one step up from WrestleLicious. It's just like a stupid sounding name. It just sounds stupid. Hearing Brock Lesnar go, "I'll see you at WrestlePalooza," why don't you just invite him to Wrestle Rock? Like it sounds so wrong.
Yeah, I'll see you at that pansy name they've given for this wrestling event, bitch. The fuck.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so interesting that all this is happening around the idea of a pay-per-view in a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then Cena leaving in a few months. They said Brock signed a new contract, or I read that Brock signed a new contract. So they have to have more plans for him down the road.
Well, and let's clarify that, because there was stories that when he was announced as having been legally cleared from this rigmarole by their staff, people were saying he'd been paid the whole time. And then they said he signed a new contract. Both was apparently true. He was paid through the end of the contract he had for a while, even though he hadn't been used. So, again, hooray for him, but what a bunch of knuckleheads. I'd have put a hood on him if I had to. If I was paying him that kind of money, come to fucking work. But anyway, they signed him to a new contract going forward because it expired during the term of the brouhaha. Is I guess what the official detail is. But he's back. So who's going to win? Cena's retiring. Brock signed a new contract. But does anybody want to see Brock beat Cena now? Now that he's back to his former vim and vigor as an honest, righteous, upstanding babyface simpleton, or what? I mean, what?
No one wanted to see Brock beat The Undertaker. And they did it. Who knows?
I thought the idea is that Brock is supposed to be the guy that looks like he can beat everybody, that you want to make people see somebody beat him, but you would have to beat him for that to happen at every once in a while. So, but see, that's why they make horse races, as Lance Russell would say. Or don't make horse races. That's why they have horse races. Do they book horse races? What would be the verb
for
the horse races?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
I thought you came from a long line of horse racing people.
I mean, I've had some fun. I've had some fun at
Saratoga.
But Saratoga.
Belmont.
Yeah, Belmont.
Well, that's a place in New York I can think of.
But, Jim, John Cena getting ready for the big match, having to deal with Brock Lesnar, who just throws referees around and everyone else around.
Yep.
He's got to be sore.
Gotta be.
Maybe even having a rough time sleeping with all these pressures on him.
Tossing and turning.
He could use some help, some friendly help, and it wouldn't be the first time that John Cena got some help from Louisville, Kentucky, from our friends at Cornbread Hemp.
That's exactly right. And I would encourage John Cena to think about this, and all the people who like and support John Cena now that he has seen the light. And they want to follow in his example and live an exemplary lifestyle like him. You got to think that he got trained in Louisville, Kentucky, And now he needs to turn back to his roots and come back to Louisville, Kentucky for our very own hometown product, Cornbread Hemp, baby. Because I knew these people were over with me, and now they proved it. They're sponsoring the University of Louisville basketball program and the football, and I believe they play some type of lacrosse and tiddlywinks and possibly competitive disc golf. I'm not sure, but they're sponsoring the U of L athletic program. And that's because they're a big deal in this town, Brian. I hope you know Cornbread Hemp. Their names are on the tip of people's tongues all over town because all over town people are popping their Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies in their mouth to deal with the constant stress of daily life. If you just need a little relaxation, or you got the stress, or you got discomfort, now it won't help you with granny sour belches. But if you're getting granny sour belches because of stress, eating away at your insides and you're making your liver quiver and your knees freeze, your spleen turn green, ladies and gentlemen, if you can de-stress and get rid of that discomfort, it'll just do a world of good for your stomach too. It won't be all knotted up. You know, the CBD gummies, Brian, are used. Well, they only use, here's what they do. You know, Brian, they only use.
Yeah, what do they do, Jim? Or what do they use? Not what do they do? What do they use?
Well, they only use, Brian, the best part of the hemp plant, which is the flower, the purdy flower, for the purest and most potent CBD configuration there, so that it goes in these gummies. So they're formulated to, again, you sleep much better. If you got the sleeplessness, you'll start sleeping with these things. You know, if you don't sleep for long enough, then sooner or later you're going to enter into some type of anaphylactic shock of the body. This has been proven by many studies, Brian.
I don't know what study. No, we don't know anything about studies either. You don't know anything about studies. What are you talking about?
Let's say you go 7 to 10 days without sleep, and then suddenly your arms start shaking and your knees are weak and you can't seem to stand on your own 2 feet. And that's why you need to sleep much more often than every 7 to 10 days, folks. So if you're sleepless, whether you're in Seattle or not, take 1 or 2 or 3 or as many of these gummies as is formulated on the bottle there.
The recommended amount.
Whatever's recommended, whatever they say, you know, or if somebody's written it on there in Sharpie, you can go by that too. Of course, that would be an aftermarket edition.
There won't be any Sharpie on the official releases from Cornbread Hemp. Thank you.
Well, see, that's why you got to go to the official site, cornbreadhemp.com, CORNBREAD, cornbreadhemp.com. See, a lot of people spell it BRED, bread, because we're in Kentucky. But there is an A in bread, cornbreadhemp.com/JCE, and you can save 30% on your very first order. Just because you're listening to us, and just because I'm coming from Louisville, and so are they, and so are we, and we are all together in this, folks. So save 30%, cornbreadhemp.com/JCE. Use the code JCE at checkout. That's easy to remember, JC and E. And for CBD, because they're USDA organic. Remember, I told you Randy Hale started that USDA farm after he closed the USDA wrestling promotion. And he was actually the third party that owned that lab that tested these things to begin with to ensure the safety and purity of the products at Cornbread Hemp and the packaging alone.
Oh, you hear that, Jim? That's the bullshit detector. We need to get back to the real deal Cornbread Hemp, a great deal for the listeners.
The packaging alone from Cornbread Hemp will tell you that this is not some kind of shade tree operation, but they are indeed very professional and organized, and they're a multi-county firm now. They're just all over the place, and they're going to fix you up. 30% off, cornbreadhemp.com/JCE. Use the code JCE at checkout.
Whoa, there's that sound again, but
the hell?
Cornbread Hemp, a friend of ours. They could be friends of yours. We love them around here. You'll love them there. Jim?
Yeah, if you're suddenly interrupted from anything with a giant screeching sound like that and you almost have a heart attack, take a CBD gummy.
Well, Jim, SmackDown still had more action, and a lot of it we both mutually decided to skip past. I'm sorry, I know Aleister Black has fans. I'm not one of them. And him against Damian Priest is like not an appealing match to me in any way.
I'm not sure I want to take that kick. I don't really see how he's got full control of that kick when he's going that fast from that far around and it's behind his head. He's kind of looking around. You could tell Damian Priest wasn't sure about that kick either. His head turned and his hand went up. And he still may have caught at least a French fry, if not a potato. But and they had a girls' match, Brian.
And what was that match?
I don't know. It was girls. They were doing the things that girls do.
Well, Jim, there was another big segment on SmackDown, one that was, although the Cena thing ended up being a big deal, the real big deal, the reason a lot of people were tuning in was the idea that someone could be returning, and there was a big segment around it.
Someone apparently got 178 million social views. Now, I think having a social view of somebody used to get you arrested in some states, but now it's not frowned upon at all, and they got a bunch of them. We knew this; it was set up so perfectly, and again, and I'm going to explain to people that may not yet get it why this is fucking money. They start out with Seth's music so they can whoa and do the whole thing. And we know he's in the stands. Then they go to a break. And I'm wondering, after they played the music, he comes out, he's in the stands up there with the spotlight and they're all whoaing and they go to the break and they came back 3.5 minutes later. The music's still playing. They're still whoaing. Does he have to stand there and just whoa? And do these people continue to whoa during the whole goddamn commercial break, Brian?
I don't know. Any of this makes me feel like I'm tied to the tree of woe.
I mean, it used to be you didn't have to work so hard when you paid to go to see the show without having to whoa for so. But anyway, he basically does the introduction. Tonight, the legend of CM Punk dies. And of course, they're in Chicago. So, of course, he's got nuclear heat already, and he gets the big CM Punk chance, and Seth introduces Becky, and Becky comes out to makes her entrance down the aisle, gets in the ring, and she's got big heat. And it's the same thing we were talking about with this whole Cena thing and blah, blah, blah. These people are over. The fans know what their interactions are with these other people and with the references they're making, and it's a personal fucking issue, which we'll get to in a minute, but it's understandable, and the people are with it, and the crowd immediately, as soon as Becky's music dropped, was chanting AJ Lee, AJ Lee. How dare you chant somebody else's name? And every time she screeches at him like this shrewish, bossy bitch, they boo the shit out of her. And again, not in the fun way, like, it's fine. Now's where we're supposed to scream over Dominic or whatever. It's no, we don't like you. You're saying shit we don't like. We don't want to hear this. Boo, you're a bad person. I'm not saying they want to stab her. We're not going that far, but it's the different tone.
But you know what? She does good with it, too, because she changes her tone and she raises her voice like they're not going to stop her, as opposed to other people we've seen. They just keep talking the way they're going to talk. She does good with it, I think.
Well, yeah, and again, she's so good at being this bossy, shrewish, condescending, nasty, nasty woman. Just browbeating people, and she's bitchy, and she went down the list and she named all the Chicago sports teams. I mean, she covered football, basketball, baseball, fucking hockey, whatever. It said they all suck, and so does CM Punk. And they boo again, and suddenly, like Mussolini, to talk to Becky. Here comes Punk now, and the place blows, and he comes a big pop, and it's clobbering time. And he's coming down to the ring. Becky's in the ring. Seth is up in the stands. The people are chanting CM Punk. And Punk says, it's not about you, Becky. It's about your coward husband hiding behind his goons and hiding behind Heyman and hiding behind his wife. And they're chanting AJ Lee, AJ Lee. And I know people are like, well, they should have kept it a surprise. Fuck. This is perfect because it's telling everybody at home, even if they don't know what the fuck's going on, shit, we've missed something. We need to be tuned into this thing here. What's going on? These people are going batshit. Who's AJ? They haven't seen her in 10 years. They're going to fix that. But anyway, and Punk says you will let him chant AJ Lee. And he's got Chicago as backup. And he mentions, he could have called Bailey or he could call Rhea if he wanted. And then Becky goes off and slaps him again and paintbrushes him again and slaps at him some more. And cut a promo on him just like she did last week as he's walking out of the ring, berating him. But this time, he goes to the entrance and he says, I would never put my hands on a lady, but I've got somebody who will. And they play AJ's music. Here is the person that these 16,000 people have been chanting for. We've got her. Here go the babies. And she comes out. And Brian, here's the thing. I don't know that I've ever seen an AJ Lee wrestling match. Because remember, she's been gone for 10 years. It's been more than 10 years now, right? Because Punk was gone for more. Nevertheless, wasn't paying any attention back then to what the WWE was doing. But I know that basically crazy is her superpower. And how do I know that people are scared of her, Brian? Because as she comes down all smiley, about to fucking go crazy like a goddamn Chucky doll or whatever, Becky Lynch is in the ring shitting herself. Oh, shit. That's the way you get shit over. Because I saw somebody on Twitter is like, why was Becky acting like she was scared of this little girl when she doesn't act scared of goddamn, what the fuck's her name? The refrigerator, Jax. Because it sells tickets. Becky has to be afraid that this fucking wife of the man that her husband has been fucking around and now she's fucked him around. His wife's crazy and here she comes. And if she's not scared, it kills the whole deal. They're telling a story here. And AJ skips around the ring and smiling while Becky's begging off. And the people are chanting, holy shit, holy shit. And then when AJ gets in the ring, she snaps and double legs her and beats the shit out of Becky. Apparently for real, because she had a black eye on Raw, right? But she's wailing on her, and Becky gets out from under it, and AJ Thez presses her and pounds on her again. And the big slap, and Becky takes a big bump and is selling all over ringside, like when I sold for Bill Watts. And the people are going crazy. And Punk and AJ celebrate in the ring, and Seth and his wife, and it was perfect. This is a personal issue. This is what wrestling has been missing for a long time. The only thing that will ruin it is if AJ and Becky in this tag team match that they're about to set up here soon on Raw, when they have it, if AJ and Becky start trying to wrestle and do one tackle, drop down, hip toss, hurricane rana, fucking dive. It'll kill it. They want to see these two beat the shit out of each other. I'm not saying they can't body slam somebody, but if they start doing just goddamn Cirque du Soleil cartwheel wrestling, it'll kill it. But they want to see these two fucking fight and beat the shit out of each other. It's classic wrestling. A guy and his wife against a guy and his wife, and everybody knows who they are. And this was perfectly built. And then again, they're going to introduce Becky for the newer, not Becky, but AJ for the newer audiences, more on Raw to make sure that everybody's with it. They're telling the fucking story. I don't care who else is on Lollapalooza. I just want to see this. I don't care what the fuck the rest of it is.
All right.
Are you muted?
That wasn't really a segue or anything. I was listening to you.
Well, that's a safe listen every time, but what do you think there, son?
You know, I was a bit conflicted on it. Everything you just said is right, and you're almost convincing me not to think what I thought. But, you know, I think my original statement was if she comes out there skipping, it kills it a bit for me. Something along those lines. And she came out there skipping, and the fans went crazy for her skipping, and that's kind of what she did 10 years ago plus when she was there, which was a period of time I really didn't like. You know, it wasn't like, man, the whole show sucks, but the AJ Lee stuff is great. I mean, she was part of the show, and I wasn't really into the show at that point in time. Not to say I won't get into this, and you know, we'll talk about Monday when we talk about Monday, but I still wonder what it would have been like if she wasn't in her gear and somehow just reached over the barricade and started punching Becky Lynch, and you realize, oh my God, that's AJ Lee, who we expected. But, you know, instead it was back to Raw from 12 years ago, and I did not like that product.
But here's the thing. Do you know what Vince McMahon would have said about that idea? We're kayfabing ourselves. Because sometimes you can get in a position where you can actually manipulate the people into demanding something that you then can just give them. But if you bring it out of nowhere, you've missed a lot of that anticipation and a lot of that pop. And with the skipping, this again, that's why I said I haven't seen any AJ Lee matches, but I understand the gimmick is she's crazy. So I view this as Rough House Fargo. She can come out and skip and look all, and by the way, they're the same size, because somebody's going to say, well, she's like a little girl and you don't like a little girl. Well, Becky's fucking minute also. So here's the thing.
And Rough House wasn't important. That big either.
Well, in Rough House,
I thought that's what you meant. I thought you were saying AJ Lee's the same size as Rough House Fargo.
No. I mean, she's the same size, because some people are going to say, well, she's a little tiny girl, but so is Becky. They're the same size. And the Rough House Fargo thing is, if she comes out skipping and the people are going crazy and they're chanting her name and they're screaming, why step on the pop? And then she snaps and kills the girl, which she did. Then, okay, that's her gimmick, and I want to see that. She can fucking skip and smile all she wants to around the ring and with the fans and whatever, and she can be animated like that, as long as then when she snaps, she's goddamn crazy. And there you go. Now we got something. And that's again why I'm saying they don't need to wrestle, they need to fight. And I think they both probably can. I don't know how AJ's work is, but again, they don't need to. This doesn't need to be a scientific classic that all the fucking indie wrestling fans will love. So they know she's got no moveset. No, they need to be slinging each other into shit.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, considering what this is, which was Becky Lynch slapping around AJ Lee's husband, they shouldn't lock up or anything, right? They should just start pounding each other.
Well, I mean, they should. The guys are going to start, I would think, because I can't see any way in the world that with the people involved, they wouldn't want to build it to where the girls get to each other. And at that point, no, I wouldn't think it'd be a situation where they're going to circle around the ring and lock up. I think this needs to be like a Ronda Rousey debut. Remember where they worked everything around her and Stephanie and it was fucking brilliant. And then she never had a match that good again. These girls can actually work already, but they need to build the match around, in large part, around the girls getting a hold of each other and in different creative ways, but not too much till the end. But yeah, again, this could be the main event. I don't, you know, and bless Cena and Brock. That's a strong match, but this could be the main event of any regular pay-per-view. It could main event any arena in the country, and I'd be happy.
And again, we'll talk about Raw shortly, but another thing this reminded me of, it's been a long time since AJ Lee's been on this show, and again, that wasn't one of my favorite times. I forgot how much I hated her goddamn music. Just that music. As soon as it hit, I was like, oh no, I remember this. But again, they super served their fans and the fans that were there to see this. This was Chicago, which is like her adopted hometown, I guess, because she's married to someone from Chicago. I don't know how that works. It's her place now.
Well,
too.
they know she resides there. Larry would get a pop. You know what? God damn it.
Oh, Rollins has to get a dog. Rollins has to get a dog.
No, well, hold on. They need to have Larry come out and bite fucking Rollins in the ass first. And then Rollins goes and gets a dog. And then they have a 6-person, well, not even a 6-person, a 6 species. Well, it wouldn't be 6 species. An intergender, well, it wouldn't be that. A 6-entity, 3 on each side family contest.
See, I like the idea because he's a heel. You would think he would get a bigger dog than Larry, and then you would get to the point in the match where the match is about to begin, and you would have to hand the leash over to Heyman, who would have to control the dog. I like that idea.
Have you ever seen Alfred Hitchcock walking a dog?
Or picking up after it? No.
No. Well, he's used to picking up after.
He would tear his pants. If he bent over to pick up some crap, I don't know why we're fantasizing about Paul Heyman walking a dog.
Well, I wasn't going to use the word fantasize either about any of this. But
well, that was the AJ Lee return on SmackDown. And Jim, of course,
yes,
this big return means something. And what it means is that AJ Lee may have a little less time to focus on that new business she was going to start up. This is an awful transition. Maybe now she really wants to start up that business. Look, if you have a business and you need an online friend, a support system there for you, get your items into the biggest possible storefront. Help me. Ladies and gentlemen, our friends at Shopify.
You got some business to attend to, ladies and gentlemen. You want some risky business, Jack? If you have no business doing a transition to a commercial, then you may be Brian Last. Folks, I think that what Brian was trying to say there, and failing miserably, is that you need to have a business because you got to support yourself somehow. They apparently still in this day and age, they've not made it where you can just wander around aimlessly through life without any means of support, or sooner or later, somebody's going to get mad at you. So let's say you've got an idea, you got a brilliant concept, you've got a strategy, you've got a product, you got a service, you got something you want to sell, you've got a song that your heart wants to sing and you need to sing it. But you got no way to there. See, there you go. Zing, zing, zing went the trolley. Ting, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings because my business went to hell because I didn't team up with Shopify. Because Shopify will take your business and it will shove it straight to the top. It will cram it all the way inside the hearts and minds of people all across the world. And then they will instantly know that you are selling succulent seafood or
why would that be the example you went with?
or perhaps you're selling a natty embroidery product or some type of things that help Boy Scouts dig holes. Whatever your brilliant idea is, Shopify can help you. Well, you know, Boy Scouts are of the age where they like to dig holes and put things inside of them. But Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of holes in the ground. Behind millions of businesses around the world.
That's
10%.
Right. Yes.
10% of all the holes in the ground in the United States are, 10% of all e-commerce in the United States is run by Shopify. And they can get you started and they can run you all the way through to the finish line. But they can help you with not only setting up your website, your beautiful online store, your own, you can consider them your own design studio, but you can also accelerate your content creations, writing product descriptions, enhancing your product photography. They've got a marketing team that will all around the world. They will say, old Joe over there digs the best holes in town. And he'll dig a hole for you no matter where you are. And then you can run around the world digging holes. And you can create email and social media campaigns that tell people all about the holes that you're digging. And they've got all the expertise you need to hear that magic sound of revenue, commerce, money pouring in, cash money. They even take green stamps. Have you seen the Shopify green stamps, Brian?
I don't believe that's a thing. Let's just say that it's not.
That may be still be in development. Aunt Lola had books and books of S&H green stamps. I don't know. She got a lamp one time. But folks, you're going to sell more than a lamp on Shopify because they will turn your big business idea into that little chinging noise that you just heard there that signifies that your trolley to the top awaits. You're going to take a trolley car to the top of the world, Ma. And you can right now get Shopify on your side with a $1 a month trial period. No, they're not going to send you $1. You got to send them $1. But for that $1 in a month, you will have access to their brilliance and their ability to take whatever Weasley low-class idea you've got and turn it into something that people will actually pay money for. And start selling today, or at least during the 1-month trial period, at Shopify.com/JCE. Cha-ching? Cha-ching? Yes, Shopify.com/JCE $1 a month trial period. How can you beat it? You can't beat it. Not at all.
Oh, there it is, of course. Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Jim.
Zing, zing, zing. All righty.
I don't know why that got me. I hadn't thought of a trolley yet as an option. I've been thinking so much about a little kid on a little bicycle ringing their little bell. But Jim, it's time
Rice-A-Roni.